Hello.
Hi, everybody. We'll start momentarily. For the players and coaches, when it's your turn to speak, when you like to give an answer, please hit the button on your microphone so it turns green. And when you're finished with your answer, hit it again so it turns red. Helps reduce feedback. Okay, hi, everybody. We're going to begin the press conference with LCS champions Cloud9. This press conference will last for about 20 minutes or until there are no more questions from the press. Remote media will be able to ask questions using the chat feature inside of Zoom. For all press, please, when you have a question, direct it to a particular player or coach. If you'd like to hear a response from the team, select someone to begin that response. We'll begin with a question from in-person media.
Hello, this is Travis Gafford. This question is for one Max Waldo, the coach of Cloud9. So Max, we just saw you guys win in a 3-0 series, and then the group draw show happened, and you got a very interesting group, and I'm curious if you are happy with your group or if you wish you had 100 T's group by any chance.
Well, it seems like this is a pattern, right? That Cloud9 gets a difficult group and then we end up making it out. So looking for a similar outcome this year. I don't think it changes much of anything. Do you want more from me, Travis?
Sure, if you've got more.
I don't even remember what 100 Thieves group was. They have oysters? Flying oysters? Do they have Gigabyte Marines?
No.
And Genji?
Genji and the oysters.
Well, who did they have last year? What, T1 EDG?
No further comments, Your Honor.
Thank you, Travis.
Hello, this is Sylvix from Team Liquid. My question is for Berserker. Berserker, I remember last year that Gumiyushi said that he's the best ADC in the world, but the second best ADC in the world is Berserker, and you were his substitute at the time. How excited are you to play up against him and prove yourself on the biggest stage?
작년에 이제 구마가 자기가 가장 잘하는 원딜이고 그리고 두 번째로는 너라고 집어넣어서 그때 너가 그때 서비였잖아. 그 구마 상대하게 됐는데 그게 기분이 어떤지.
일단 작년에 구마유시 선수가 되게 잘 했었고 일단 보는 눈이 되게 좋으신 것 같아서 저도 그 부분에 동의를 하고요. 이번 연도는 뭐 어떻게 될지 모르겠지만 월즈에서 결과가 나오지 않을까요? 월즈에서 결과가 나오지 않을까요?
So Guma did really well last year, and I agree with what he said about him being the best, and facing him, we'll just have to see what happens between us.
Your answer.
You will shit on Gamusi.
My name's Ethan Garcia. I'm with Dot Esports. My question is for Zven. So I got the chance to talk to you after your first game in the summer split, your first game of support. So I wanted to get your reaction now in your last game of support of the LCS this year. How would you say that you've improved from that beginning where you said it was going to be a little difficult to adjust?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it would be hard at first with the language barrier between me and Berserker, and then learning my role while also getting some chemistry with Berserker and Jensen, new people of C9, and Fudge came at top lane and all that. We were behind from week 1 because we didn't play that week. But I think it's gone pretty well so far. I think I'm a bit carried by the range support meta, obviously. I have the best ADC and jungler in the league, which helps because one guy engages and one guy carries when I shield him, right? So the meta definitely helps me, don't get me wrong, but I think it's been going well so far, and I'm looking forward to Worlds where I play against the best ball lanes in the world. I think we're going to have maybe Fnatic in our group as well, assuming they win their playing group, so we'll have 4 of the best ball lanes in the world in our group, so it'll be exciting.
Hey, Robert Haynes of the Game House here. This one's for Max. I want to know
it's been a bit of a twisty-turny year for you, right? What areas do you think you grew in most as a coach leading up to allowing your team to win a championship?
Boy, this one's introspective. Let me think a little bit. Hold on, guys. No. Stop laughing. There's no dribble coming. Okay. What areas have I grown in most? It's like... Okay. Maybe the one I would pick is like not holding on too tightly to outcomes. Just doing preparation, focusing on what you have to do next. I think that's like the most important thing that I've gotten is just that your role as a coach is to make things better. And you just need to focus on what you can do to make things better. And that's your job. So focusing so much on outcomes, like holding too tightly to certain things happening, it just will hold you back or slow you down. So you just think about what can I do to improve the situation we're in right now. I think I've gotten a lot better at doing stuff like this. So I could talk a lot more about this, but they're gonna laugh more at me.
Thank you.
Question from remote media. This is directed at Blaber. Blaber, what makes this win against 100 Thieves special to you?
I wouldn't say that this win means more to me than my other two wins, but I do think that I've had a history of like performing worse in summer, and I'm really glad that we were able to step up this time and go into Worlds as the first seed. It's my first time winning summer and first time winning in front of a crowd, so I'm really happy about that.
Henrique DeMoore from .esports. I have a question for Berserker. When spring ended the way it did, right? I mean, there were a bunch of new additions to the roster. Yourself, Winsome, Summit, you come over, and then spring doesn't go too hot. You know, with LS's departure, Summit leaving, and Winsome leaving, but you decided to stay. Why did you decide to stay?
그 스프링
사실 남기를 결정하기도 했지만 사실 저한테는 그 당시에는 주어진 선택권이 많지 않은 상황이었어서 그냥 남아서 어떻게든 올해 좀 잘 해보자 라는 마인드로 결정했던 것 같아요.
Yes, I decided to stay, but I mean, honestly, I didn't really have that much of a decision-making capability. But you know, my mindset was that, oh, I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna try to do my best and win.
Hey, this is Germ with I Am Germ. My question's for Fudge. So you had talked a little bit about, you know, wanting to prove yourself as one of the best LCS players of all time. I'd say that's going pretty well so far after this. But now headed to the world stage, do you think you're at a stage in your career where you can prove yourself as one of the best top laners in the world?
I think at previous international tournaments, I have shown that I have at least moments where I can compete against the best players in the world. And I think, although throughout the entire League of Legends history, Asian teams have just sort of dominated everyone, I think that people sort of over-exaggerate the difference in skill between us and the teams that win Worlds. And I think that we definitely have the capability, if preparing well for our matches, to beat all the other teams.
Hi there, Nick Tracy. My question is also for Fudge. When we spoke at the beginning of the split, you said that you had a long way to go in terms of getting reacclimated to top lane. Do you feel like that you fully returned to your previous peak, so to speak, from 2021?
Yeah, I definitely think I'm a lot better than I was in 2021 just because of the experience I had in mid lane. I think allowed me to understand the other roles a lot better. And I also think as a person, I've just grown a lot. So I feel like I'm much more calm in the high pressure moments. And I think that helps me a lot in terms of my decision making. So pretty confident.
Thank you.
Hey guys, Jay Silver here with Game Elevate. Congratulations on the win. My question is for Blaber. Blaber, you and I spoke a couple weeks ago and we talked about just your growth as a player. During your interview with the Tigress, you heard the chants of MVP throughout the whole arena, and there was a moment you got a little emotional. Can you talk to me a little bit about what it was like hearing that chant throughout the whole arena, and just overall your feelings that there was so much support behind you from not only C9 fans but the entire audience?
Yeah, I was really happy to see all the fans come today. I was honestly getting a bit emotional yesterday, even when I came just to watch. I felt like I've been more emotional recently. I don't know why, but I have been. And I think the MVP chants were really nice, and maybe it triggered something, but for me, I was just really happy that we won, and I was able to do it in front of a crowd, and I was just really happy in that moment.
Hey, this is Michael Termini with the Game House. This one's for Max. Is this proof that the systems work?
I guess so. I mean, I don't know for sure. Like the system is just like preparation and like following the schedule. Like you don't know for sure definitively if it's like working, right? Yeah, but it's about the outcomes, I guess, at the end of the day, right? Like, oh yeah, we ended up winning, so something about it is going well. But you can never pin it down like absolutely, like this absolutely works for this reason, this like sole reason alone. But yeah, I guess so.
This question is for Zven and Fudge. So throughout all of playoffs, we saw usually full 5-game series, sometimes 4. Throughout the interviews I've been doing with both of you throughout the summer, you've both been very critical of Max Waldo's drafting. And so I'm curious if, in this situation in particular, you're satisfied with his drafting today, and if you think that led to the 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, Max Waldo did perform today, but I will say that it's really easy to draft when your players are better than the enemies in every single role. You know, it's not that hard. And we went to draft meeting yesterday, and someone said, they'll ban this, and this. We're like, yeah, I'll agree, okay. And then after game 2, I said, they will ban this no matter what. So I'm doing Max's job for him sometimes, but I will say Max Waldo, aka DK, Draft King, has been performing in playoffs so far. And there's been a few moments here and there where the players carried him, but I will say I'm satisfied with Max Waldo's drafting overall, yes. Thank you.
My opinion is that draft does not matter.
That's cap.
Question from Remote Media. This question is for Fudge. Fudge, you've been adamant throughout the playoffs that C9 has been the best team in the region. When looking at the other 2 North American reps at Worlds, how do you think they will fare at Worlds?
If I'm being honest, I think EG will probably make it out of plans. I think they're a really good team, and honestly, I probably think they're better than 100 Thieves, but I don't think either team will do very well at Worlds. I think C9 will be the only hope, as per usual, and we have to carry anyone on our back, I guess.
My question is actually for Zazel. So we're all very happy to see you back in the C9 white and blue. And I wanted to ask your opinion on how it's been this time being behind the scenes and helping the players from a more coaching perspective rather than being the player in front and helping them achieve all the success from behind the scenes.
Yeah, so it's a huge difference for one. I think what it comes down to is basically you can try to get the players to be better, but a lot of it is just like you have to hope they perform in the stage day and that you give them a good draft. So it's like a lot of things feel out of my hands past a certain point, and that's like a hard feeling to adjust to. But beyond that, it's like I have the same day. I still play the same amount of games, spend the same amount of time. So it's like it's not that much different. It's just Jesper is the support king now, and he does the hard work. I just sit in the draft meetings and sometimes give some feedback.
Robert Haynes from the Game House again. This one's for Jensen. You've been playing, obviously, in the LCS for a long time. You got great honors for being in the top 10. But I would like to know, do you feel like this is one of the most competitive years of the LCS? As there are a lot of teams that, well, I mean, you guys were the 5th seed and ran it, right, all the way in. So, yeah, I guess just how would you rank, I guess, this season in terms of competitiveness?
Yeah, I think in the past, you could almost always tell there was like between 2 teams who was going to win the split. But I think this time around, at least before playoffs, I thought it was kind of anyone's season. I thought EG was still favored, but even teams like CLG and sort of like FlyQuest was playing pretty well at certain points during the regular season. And I think just in terms of competition, also in mid lane, it felt a lot tougher. Whereas in the past, it would be like me versus Bjergsen and then some other mid laners here and there. But yeah, it felt like this time there was a lot of good teams. So it was very fun because you didn't really know who was going to win playoffs, just the playoffs matches in general. So it was a lot more fun this time around.
Thank you.
Nick Tracy here. One more for you, Fudge. Cloud9 came into the playoffs as the 5th seed, and you guys had the most dominant performances, getting the majority of the 3-1s by yourself, basically. What was the biggest factor in the seemingly improved level of play that we saw between the summer split and the summer playoffs for Cloud9 for you guys to be so dominant in this run to the championship?
Honestly, it's really hard to pinpoint anything specifically. I think all the players just stepped up really well, and we all have quite a bit of experience, I guess, except Berserker, and I would consider Berserker probably the best performer out of our entire team, in my opinion. Also, ADC's kind of broken, so it makes him look a little bit better, but I don't know. It's really, really hard to pinpoint for me. I actually have no answer to that.
Fair enough. Thank you.
This question's for Jensen. It was pointed out to me that you will apparently, because of the group draw, be playing against 2 mid laners that you played against in 2017 on T1 and EDG. So what does it feel like to be facing these 2 mid laners again half a decade later?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think about. I think Jack pointed out earlier that these are the same 2 mid laners on the same teams that I played against. I think it was maybe 5 years ago or so. So it's kind of crazy that they're still around because it doesn't happen often in esports that 5 years later you'll play against the same player on the same team. So I'm excited to face off against them. I think obviously a lot has changed since then. I think the West has caught up a bit more. So I think this time it might be time to clap Faker for real this time.
I think we have time for one more question.
Hey, this is Jerm with I Am Jerm again. My last question is for Jensen. So obviously, TL, not going to Worlds. Not only are you headed to Worlds, but you're an LCS champion now. Just kind of, can you give me your thoughts on all of that?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to give a huge shout out to Steve for finally building me or helping me get a World Championship roster and helping me win finals.
And with that, we conclude our press conference with Cloud9. Thank you so very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, all 3 teams here in Chicago, we don't know how things are going to turn out with them yet, but, well, maybe we do. By the time you're watching this, we do. Well, at least, anyway. But they're all going to Worlds, and you know what? So am I. I know details to come on what that looks like and where I'll be and what I'll be doing and all that stuff, but part of the reason I can say confidently that I'll be going to Worlds is because of Alienware's support. So thank you so much to Alienware for getting me to places like Chicago and Worlds. You can check out the link in the description below, and maybe consider subscribing to the channel, becoming a member of the channel where you can see stuff early in some cases, not all the cases, and maybe following me. I have a TikTok. You can follow the TikTok. I've been losing followers on Instagram, which sucks. It's at Travis Gafford with an underscore because there's another Travis Gafford. Who I guess got there first, which is really unfortunate. I gotta wrap this up.